just after 3 o'clock, I believe it was quarter after, or sorry, not 3 o'clock, quarter after 1, about 1:15, dispatch sent Mount Morris PD over here. Some folks had been out behind the building here. There's an embankment with a small stream, not a ton of water in it, and they found a decomposed body. So at that point, Mount Morris came on scene, a couple of our members came on scene, and we've been continuing to investigate. Behind us, you can see some of our members. What they're doing is running Faro technology. That's the 3D imaging that does photos and measurements. The scene really needs to be well documented because this person is not identifiable at this point. At the same time, we have investigators doing neighborhoods and working in conjunction with our partners. You may ask why the marshal's here or why Geneseo PD's here. The reason is because we haven't ruled it out as being David Clyde Morgan. As you folks remember, last summer we had that incident where the Geneseo police officer encountered David Clyde Morgan. He took a shot at David Clyde Morgan, and David Clyde Morgan has not been seen from since that date. So that's why we're here, and we're going to work through this. I know you're going to have a lot of questions. I'll try and answer the questions I can. There's certainly a lot of unknown. I can tell you right now, it's going to be several days probably before we get a good identification. I know you're probably going to ask me what are the chances it's David Clyde Morgan, and I think that there's a chance it could be him, and I also think there's a chance it could not be him. So I'm just not going to have that answer for you tonight. So with that, I'll take your questions.
So decomposed, how long do you think it was in this area, and why was it not discovered until just recently?
You know, those are questions we're working through. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical examiner. My best estimate would be that this body has been here several months.
Is there any clothes or anything else other than flesh or whatever that you may be able to use to identify them?
Yeah, I'm not going to get too into specifics, but I will tell you that the person does have clothing on.
What about tattoos? I remember when the search was happening, they mentioned specifically that David had tattoos.
Yep, you're correct, and we're working through that. So you got to understand, when you have a scene like this, we don't rush in and start moving the body. The technicians work from the outside in, so no one has actually been right up to the body yet. We've used aerial drones, we've used the 3D imaging, but as time goes on and the hours go on, then we'll be able to actually get right to the body and we'll do a formal removal. We have the Monroe County Medical Examiner's office en route as well as a coroner.
Who found this?
It was a father and his children that were out back kind of having like a hike/picnic by the sounds of it, and looked over and saw this body in this stream area.
There's like a trail back there and looks like a ridge.
Yeah, it's not a trail. It's really like a creek area. There is a trail in that area, but where this body is located is down an embankment in a creek area.
So when this incident first happened last July, I remember that you did get a tip that he might be in the Mount Morris area, near Ridge and River Roads, I believe. How far is that from where you ended up finding that body?
That's not far from here, but neither is where the actual scene took place. Like I said, there's some things I really like about the possibilities of this being David Clyde Morgan. The fact that there is the railroad bed that runs from near the salt mine where the incident took place would run over here. Doesn't run exactly this location, but the rough geographical area. So there are possibilities this is him, but again, I want to stress that there's a good possibility it's not him either. It's really could go one way or another at this point.
So this was almost a year ago. So, I mean, I know this is a pretty small town. What is the likelihood that he could have, you know, been hiding for that long?
I think the likelihood is very slim. If this is David Clyde Morgan, I would think that this has probably happened right around that time, that maybe when he was trying to escape, he took the railroad bed and ended up over here in the darkness. I do not think that he lasted any amount of days or weeks hiding in the village of Mount Morris. Just our residents are too close with us to not share those tips. We handled several tips, some that were complete bogus, and we love to have those tips. I mean, I'll never say don't call over something you think is nothing, because sometimes it is something. That's something special we have in Livingston County. The folks always want to work with us. I firmly believe that if this is him, and I stress if, that it wasn't like he was living among the people.
So if it is him, what kind of relief would you feel? I know this man assaulted a police officer. What would that mean to your department and the area if this was him?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to get very technical with you, but he didn't assault the police officer, but he did brandish a firearm, which is very serious. The significance is this for us and law enforcement. We have to treat this that it's not him. So we're treating this like a body dump, meaning that we don't know who the person is, we don't know how they died. There's a lot of investigation work that has to go into that. Again, starts with a lot of technology between drones and Faro technology, getting the measurements, the photography, angles done, etc. But then it goes to what is the future of this case. If this is Morgan, this case is pretty much done. It's closed out, and it's a relief off our back and off our investigations, and it's a relief to the community that always has questions. Whatever happened to that guy? You know, I hear that all the time. So that's if it is him. We'll celebrate that in a weird way. You know, we never celebrate death, but as far as investigations, we'll celebrate the fact that there's closure for everybody involved in this. If it's not him, then we have a lot of work ahead of ourselves, and that's what we're preparing for. That's why you have so many resources here from our place between investigators and technicians and deputies, because we have to treat it that it's not and keep the ball going forward as a full investigation entails.
So can you tell that it is a male body?
You know, I'm not even going to say it's a male. That would be my best guess from what I did see, what little I did see. But like I said, this body's been here. There's decomposition, and it's going to take time to figure those things out. Probably going to include either dental or DNA.
With that decomposition, I don't know if it's fair to ask, any wounds to the body that we see right now superficially without going further in the investigation that might be more in depth?
Nope. Again, I want to stress that we haven't been even close to this body yet. I know we've been here several hours, but we haven't even been close to this body yet. We work from the outside in, and as that technical work is done, then we will be up close and personal with the body, and we can see, is there ID, is there the things you're asking me about, does it look like a male, does it look like a female. The closest we've seen anything is from an aerial drone.
Assuming that this is not David Clyde Morgan, what has been the status of that search?
David Clyde Morgan, we continue to work with the Marshal's office, and the Marshal and I got a great relationship. We talk almost weekly. That case is still wide open, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We still don't have any whereabouts on David Morgan. We've had some tips along the way. We've investigated those tips, but there's nothing new to report to you. And if I had something to report to you that I thought the media could help, or our folks could help, or anywhere in the country people could help, I'd share it with you. There's just nothing to share with you on it.
I don't mean to keep playing the what-if game, but if one were to walk or run from where that incident happened to about here, about how far would that be?
It's a couple miles. I mean, you saw if you get off at exit 7, it's probably where you came off 390. It's a short distance really from exit 7, and that scene is only a couple miles from exit 7. So as the crow flies, you're not talking a big distance.
Sheriff, is there other missing people that you need to contact, maybe family members, to try to get dental, get that whole process going in the area? Are there other missing folks that you could possibly be looking for?
Okay, yeah, I understood.
See what I'm saying? Like,
No, I didn't initially, but I got you
yeah.
now. So yes, there are, what we do is we run a query of all missing people. That's already been done. We know that fitting the rough height and weight that we believe from the aerial photos that we have of this person, that it's a very limited amount of people from across our region. But we do look at missing people. We do look at people like David Clyde Morgan, and then we also consider the possibility that this is just a body dump, which we've unfortunately investigated before.
What time did this initial call come in?
I believe it was like 1:15 p.m. today.
What difficulties, if any, do you foresee in this investigation?
Short term, the weather, just because of our Faro technology. We need to get this scene done. Like I said, it takes a couple hours, usually 15 minutes per scan. They're doing several scans, and then it all goes together and gives us a nice 3D image that we have for eternity and can take measurements in the software. So that's priority number 1. Priority 2 is our investigative work. That's why we got mobile command here. You got investigators in there working on the backgrounds of what if it's not David Clyde Morgan. If it is, and I stress if, this is going to be an easy case. And there's not many easy cases, but if it's him, we will compare DNA or we will compare dental, and it will match up, and it's pretty much case closed. If it's not him, then we have several days, weeks, who knows how long into an investigation.
I don't know if you said it, but what time did this call come in?
1:15 p.m. roughly, somewhere around that time today, is when the discovery and when they called in.
How long does an investigation like this take, given that that body is so decomposed? I know you said it takes a few days, but what are some of the challenges of kind of different from finding somebody a day later to maybe months later?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge right now is figuring out who it is. Decomposition changes a body, so you have to rely on DNA or you have to rely on dental. Yes, tattoos might give us a preliminary look. Someone asked that question about tattoos. That may give us a preliminary idea if we think this is him or if we think it's not him, but we still need a long-term, identifiable 100% this is who this person is. So those are going to be the challenges. DNA doesn't happen overnight. If we're relying on DNA, you're probably looking anywhere from 7 to 14 days. If it's dental, it may be much sooner. But again, we don't even know the status of the body at this point. We just haven't been that close to it.
How long do you guys anticipate you'd be here? I mean, given the weather, given the challenges that you guys have to try to get close to that body?
I think if it doesn't start pouring rain and we can finish what we need to do, the medical examiner will be here shortly, the coroner will be here shortly, and then we will start doing the recovery and removal. We could be here anywhere from 3 hours through that, through the overnight. It just really depends on what we find and how things play out.
Him being from North Carolina, does that make it any tougher to identify whether it's him or not?
No, it doesn't. And like I said, I got to stress this to you. I know I've said it 100 times, but we're treating this as it's not him. And I do think there's a possibility it is not him. But I do still think there's a possibility it is him. So we will keep in touch with you. If I have any updates, I will put out a notice and we'll give you another briefing. Worst case scenario, before we roll out of here, I will give you a briefing, and it'll probably be a couple hours, but I'll give you that update. Okay?
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.